Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for coming here today. I think all of us know there's been a very difficult stretch here in Ohio County and some of the communities within. I'm very pleased to be joined here by a number of people from the state and from local officials. We've been coordinating closely since last night, trying to make sure that state and local resources are targeted to do as much as humanly possible to help the communities that are most impacted. As you know, I've declared a state of emergency for the county. That's because flash flooding occurred throughout the city of Wheeling and the towns of Triadelphia and Valley Grove beginning late yesterday evening. In many respects, this is kind of a unicorn event because a lot of the rain hit very narrow areas, and there were roughly 3 to 4 inches of water that fell in the area in less than an hour. That's very, very difficult to deal with. And I want to start out by commending all the folks on the ground, the folks in emergency management, all the first responders, the members of the community, the people that have been out on the swift boat rescues to help people who are in need. It makes a big difference. We all have to come together as family during these times. There's a lot of rain that's hit in a short period of time. We also know that there could be more rain coming soon. So I want to start out by saying we urge everyone watching, please don't get out on the road in the affected areas. Stay off the road. Right now, we can report to you that we have 4 confirmed deaths, but there are 4 people missing. Your friends, your neighbors, your first responders, and people in the community, they're out working very hard to find people. That's our number one task right now. Try to identify anyone who may still be out there, because if there's a chance that we could save some more lives, that's what we want to do. So we're asking you, please, don't go out in the affected areas. We know that in some communities, there are parts of the road that folks don't even know whether it could just fall apart when you go on. We have to be very careful on this. And obviously over the next 24 hours, as that damage assessment is really going through, it's critical that people take the cues, stay in their homes, and then wait as we give updates about certainly what's going on. We know that this has been a challenge for a lot of the affected communities. I do want to report to you that the coordination between the local agencies and the state has been very, very close. We've been working closely with Lou, with a lot of our teams and other people in place, and it's been a great collaboration. I want to thank all the county commissioners and all the local officials, state officials who are here. I want to tell you that when these things happen, we have to all come together and do things that are addressing the issues at hand. Usually there's a sequence to these kind of events. You have to first make sure you're doing everything imaginable to help identify missing people. And that's what we're working on. A lot of times then you're watching as the water recedes to come back in, and we have to make sure that all the water recedes. It's been reported to me that most of the water is receded. That's certainly helpful. Thereafter, you look to clear the debris, and we've sent many people from our Department of Highways up. We have over 30 pieces of equipment that are actually working closely here to help clear the roads. Once you get to clear the roads and the debris, it makes a huge difference. And that puts us in a position where we can begin having a little bit more relief. A lot of our agencies are stepping up. When I activated the emergency management system yesterday, we know that our agencies have been working closely with the local officials. That includes work not only with our highway department and our National Guard, and obviously our Guard is here today, but also with our Division of Natural Resources. They're currently using drones, UTVs, dive team, and swift water boat rescue teams. And we're going to do anything imaginable to help. As of the point before coming up here, it was told to me that our DNR and others have been involved in 19 successful swift water rescues. That's certainly positive. And once again, I commend the local community. Mayor, I appreciate your cooperation. Everyone here coming together to help the people most in need. That's going to continue. It's going to continue in the upcoming days, but we know that there's a lot of damage right now. The town of Valley Grove, their water system is down, and the residents in the area are without water. I'm told that there is distribution of water and supplies at the local fire department on Route 40. So if you need help, know that there are places for you to go. We know that water, generators, and supplies, they're on the way. We also know that more than a dozen roads and 3 bridges are closed in the city and the county. A lot of people already on site, they're working. We're also talking and working with the local landfill to remove and transfer debris off the roads into the landfill. That takes a lot of work, but there's been good coordination on that. We want to make sure that our first responders have access to the resources that they need. I've directed that the resources of our Department of Highways come from across the state to assist the local crews to make as much progress as we possibly can. What I'd like to do now, very briefly, is read some of the roads that are effectively closed or where there's traffic only when it's an emergency. I'll start with Route 40, parts of Route 40, Short Creek Road, Peters Run, Warders Run, Battle Run, GC&P, Middle Creek, Junior Avenue Bridge, Dixon's Run, McGraw's Run, Atkinson Crossing, Bethany Pike at Hamilton Avenue, Schilling Bridge, Lumber Avenue, Monument Bridge to Junior Avenue, and Point Run Road at Roney's Point. As these change, you could expect regular updates. But the reason we mention this, I'm going to keep harping on it. While we're looking for people that are still missing, it's so important that people don't go out on the roads because we have to make sure that we can focus on search and rescue. And then obviously we'll be looking for trying to rebuild these roads as quickly as we possibly can. We know that there are power outages right now. As of 2 p.m., there were 2,500 individuals without power. We know that there's a lot of work going on with the linemen. There's been close coordination with AEP from my office and local officials to try to do everything can to get the power back in place. But we also know that right now, folks, we're going to need help to clean out areas for the properties affected by the flooding. We know that the Division of Emergency Management, they're going to be coordinating a lot of the work with the supply kits, the cleanup kits, so we can get to work on that right away. We expect a lot more of that to come later tonight or tomorrow. I can also report to people that our office has been in communication with FEMA. We've talked to several members of our federal delegation, and obviously we've alerted a lot of the local officials. We want to make sure that there's as coordinated an effort as possible, and we can be as helpful to this area as we can. We're also working with our DEP that's conducting inspection on facilities, and we're hopeful that we're going to have clear sailing on that front. The DEP has waived tonnage limitation and disposal fees. So as we learn more about that, or if you see issues, certainly let us know. And of course, I have General Seward here. We've mobilized National Guard to support in the local emergency operations. We know that the Joint Operations Center, it's fully engaged, and there is a coordinating response with all of the agencies, and I've asked them to work with all of the local teams and prioritize this area so that we can affect and help all the residents in these communities. We know that engineering units and loaders and dump trucks are on our way. They're being mobilized to clear debris, to reopen access routes, and support clinical infrastructure. We know that the National Guard aviation assets remain on standby to conduct search and rescue missions for individuals. And once again, as we learn more about that, and the success or not of those missions, we will let you know. We want to do everything and focus on life-saving support at this moment. And I want to make sure we put all of our resources in to doing that. This is a very difficult time for Ohio County and for West Virginia. My number one priority, and that of everyone on our team and those in the local community, it's to identify the missing individuals. We want anything we could do to save lives, but to identify those people. We're hopeful that some might be located safely. We know this morning we found someone who was originally missing, and that was certainly positive. I want to ask everyone to keep all of these missing people in your prayers. They all need that, and their families. We know one of the individuals who died, of the 4 that's been confirmed, is a 3-year-old child. When we can, we'll be able to release the names of those individuals. We know that the rebuilding here is not going to be easy, but we want to be helpful every step of the way. We do know that we need help of the residents in the community. If people have information on the ground, we ask them to let us know. You can go to a local website. It's called emd.wv.gov/disaster survey. That's emd.wv/disaster survey. If you know of information that you want to report, let us know. If you need something for some of the affected communities, let us know. You're communicating with your local officials. Lou, I'm grateful for everything you're doing, and they're coordinating closely with us. But without information, it's harder for us to act. So please, let's stay in close touch. We know we've been in touch with VOAD, and we encourage volunteer efforts. This is something that hit pretty quickly. These were flash floods, so they came and it hit the affected community. But we're going to need help from volunteers as we clean up the homes. If people want to reach out to VOAD, that's also 304-234-7109. There's a lot for us to do in the upcoming days. But once again, I want to reiterate, we want to stay off the roads. We're still in a search and rescue mission. We're going to begin our damage assessment really in earnest tomorrow. And we want to work closely with you for the days, weeks, and months ahead to make sure that we're helping. So I want to thank everyone who's coming here today, the elected officials, the leaders in the community who are stepping up. And I'd be happy to share the mic with anyone on the local level. Lou, if there's anything else you would like to say, or anyone, county commissioners, or a general, or anyone in our team, feel free to weigh in. Lou, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Governor. As the Governor said, since our briefing, 11 o'clock, we have identified the 4th victim. But the good news is 2 people who were on our missing persons list have been found that they are safe. So that's the greatest thing that's happened today. Again, as the Governor said, we have a great team working downstairs to meet all the needs of all the citizens. And again, we will encourage anybody, especially who has any damage in any of their houses or buildings, to go to that website, because that's going to be the basis of our damage assessment. We're going to work with the general and getting those damage assessments. And that passes on to the governor. So if there's a possibility of a presidential declaration, that's the whole nucleus of getting that. And that will bring money in to take care of our infrastructure and the public assistance and also individual assistance. So it's essential that we get that information to us so we can get it to Philadelphia and then eventually to the president with hopes of getting the disaster declaration.